Hey, this is Jared Flynn with the BulkLoads podcast. Got Tyler in here with me.
What's going on, guys?
We are going to do another podcast that we pre-recorded back at Matt's.
Yep.
And this was with Colt Sharp of Sharp Farms LLC. He's been on the load board just for 3 years. I say just, well, he's 22 years old, this guy. But he stopped by the booth. We got to talking to him. I never spoke with him before. And he started talking about his operation and using BulkLoads. But more importantly, he talked about just the business that he's had.
Yep.
And more importantly, this guy's killing it in the industry. He's got 2 show rigs. He drives one and his dad drives one. And I'm like, I mean, you're not much. I mean, how old are you?
I'm 25.
25.
Yep.
Okay. So, I mean, that's 3 years. I mean, but like I look back at 22, dude, I did not have.
Yeah, no, he's got his stuff put together.
Yeah, he's got his stuff put together. So we're excited to bring him on. Before we get on to the podcast, though, we're going to give a little plug to the TMS, Bulk TMS. You've probably seen it on BulkLoads. We've had this journey over the past 3 years where we've been pushing Bulk TMS, which now we have BulkLoads Plus, and we're trying to explain that some people are confused, but TMS is embedded into that. And we're going to talk more about that as we get in. We are onboarding a lot of customers onto TMS, and we had a guy reply or send an email to us about his experience. Go ahead and read that.
Yeah, and just a little backstory. We probably should have done a better job ourselves, just kind of getting the word out there a little bit. But as people are starting to use it, the word is getting out. And we had a guy email in today, and he kind of said that his TMS has no idea it doesn't understand bulk freight.
Yep.
So like the invoicing system, he still, even though he's using and paying for a TMS system, he still has to do a lot by hand. And that's a problem. If you're paying for a TMS, in my opinion, if you're paying a lot of money for a system, it should be able to do and automate a lot of that work so you don't have to do a bunch of manual work. And Jared, that's one of the reasons that you and Matt created this system, is to automate a lot of that work. And the best part about it, it's built for bulk freight.
Yep.
So it understands everything.
Yep. Yeah, we've designed it exactly around that, just from my experience working in the bolt industry. I think I've shared with us, like I had kind of at the company I worked at before starting Bartlett, I'd kind of developed an in-house TMS system. So I kind of knew the value of it, and then used a little bit of that experience when we started Bulk TMS with Matt's help, and really listening to our customers, but really designing a program, because, I mean, up until now, there really is no other program out there that does that. And there's other TMSs, and I'm not here to slam them. There are some that are very excellent at other types of freight. Van freight, refrigerator freight, flatbed, hot shot. I mean, all of those. But none of them really work for bulk, and that's why we started this. If you're listening and you're on, is this for me? I'm a driver. The answer is yes. I mean, there's bits and pieces all embedded into this that can help you with any part of your operation. You know, whether you're a 1-truck operator, you got 5 trucks or 10 plus. I mean, it's built around to suit all different shapes and sizes of companies.
Yep. Yeah, and I will say this. We are, right in line with, I would even say we're a lot cheaper than a lot of the other systems out there. So if you want to learn more, you can go to bulktms.com.
Yep.
We'll be kind of revamping that website. But also, if you're on BulkLoads, just click on the BulkLoads Plus tab. If you see it on your dashboard there, click on it, and you can find out more info there. Yeah,
we have a good team here, Caleb and Austin, that are running that. They're happy to walk you through. We're not going to try to upsell you on anything. We want you to use it.
Yep.
We have spent a lot of time and development putting this thing together, and I'm excited. I think I wouldn't have said that a year ago because we still had a long ways to go, but man, we have this thing. I mean, it is built like a slick rocket. I mean, it's super excited. So yeah, check out Bulk TMS on the BulkLoads platform. If you have any questions, reach out to us on that. So the last thing I was going to say, Colt, some of these we got recorded, and this one I'm going to blame you. You did not hit the record button. So this conversation, you're just going to hear the audio on here. But I think you're going to try to throw up some pictures.
Yep. I actually reached out to Colt. He's got some slick looking trucks. He's going to try to give me some of footage of those trucks, and we're going to try and embed them. That way you guys have something to watch as you're listening to the show. As well, it was recorded on the Saturday at Matt, so one of the busiest days. There will be a little noise. I think you can hear some announcements in the background, so just a little kind of warning there. But yeah, it was a good episode.
I'm super excited. I'm envious too. How does he do this at 22? And he's bootstrapped this from himself.
Yeah.
Like, this guy didn't get anything given to him. I mean, he's built this business at 22 years old. And like, more than anything, I'm excited. And I think I say this in the podcast, like, I want to follow you. I am following him now on social media, but I want to see where you're going the next 5 or 10 years. So this is super excited. Hopefully you'll be excited to listen to this, but yeah, this is, I'm excited to see why this guy is killing it in the bulk industry. So with that said, here's my conversation with Colt Sharp of Sharp Farms. Colt, thanks for stopping by the booth.
Not a problem. I just been walking around. And I was like, I need to find BulkLoads.
Yeah. Well, I didn't realize until you told me, like, dude, you're only 22.
Yeah.
Like, and you've been on the board for 3 years. Like, so you were on the board before you were even 21.
Yeah, I was looking at local work, all the PA stuff. I was like, what can I find that just stays PA to PA?
Yeah. And there's not a lot of guys. I mean, you're probably less than 1% of 22-year-olds trucking. I mean, there can't be that many how many guys do you run with that are your age or around your age?
So I have a couple buddies that are like, they're company drivers and they have the drive.
Yeah.
But they don't have the funding and they don't have the means to do it. Well,
so they have a goal of one day getting out on their own, but they got to build experience.
I don't know about that, because they enjoy that company driver life. Like, I've always said that there's owner operators and there's company drivers. And if you don't want to wake up at 3 a.m. and run until 9 p.m. some nights, then the owner operator life isn't for you. And that's just nitty gritty. Like, if you don't want to hear that, then that's the sad truth. Because, I mean, is it legal? No. But do you want to make money and make a name for yourself?
Yeah.
Or do you want to just get by?
Yeah.
Because you can bust your butt for 8 weeks when guys are just getting by for 8 weeks and you're tenfold ahead of them.
Well, I guess I put it in the perspective of, like, in my mind, it's just so hard, if almost impossible, to be an owner operator before you're 21. I mean, because even we were talking about insurance before we came on the podcast, but even a lot of big insurance companies, I mean, they won't even look at you until you're 25. I mean, as far as, so, I mean, you've kind of overcame a lot of these hurdles to be in the industry.
Like, when I first got into it, and I'm going to give a shout out here, Erica Wilson, she's my insurance agent, best friend. She's awesome. And she's like, Colt, she's like, I'm going to hit you with this price. She's like, and you're not going to like it. She's like, but
she's shooting you straight.
Yeah. She's like, do you want to do this or not? And I was like, you know what? Yeah. Like, hit me with it. And she hit me with it. And it was $33,000 for a 20-year-old kid with his own authority. And I wasn't going to go lease on to someone, because I want to know that when I go to work, I dictate what I make.
Yeah.
I'm not running underneath someone that says, okay, we're going to give you this week. And if you don't do it this week, then next week, we're just going to cut you back. Yeah. Like, I don't like that. It's the, I guess, cap, you would call it. A lot of companies that I know, that they cap you out.
Yeah.
And
well, you were even saying, and I respect this a lot about you, when you're talking to shippers on rates, like you said it, I shoot everybody straight.
Yeah.
There's no beating around the bush. Like, talk about that. Like, you.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, if you don't want to haul it, don't haul it. But if someone calls you and says, hey, what's the rate on it? I've come in double sometimes, and they're like, whoa. And I'm like, what works for you won't work for me. And what works for me won't work for you. Because guess what? I love going home every night and sleeping in my bed. There's some guys that are like, get me the hell out of this house. I can't deal with my wife. But it's the big thing is the trucking industry is so, I don't know what the word is. It's so diverse, I guess.
Yeah.
Because there's guys that they see that first paycheck of 10 grand a week. Guess what they're doing? They're going out and buying their wife a new Tahoe. They're going and buying themselves a new lake
Big
boat.
mistake.
Yeah. Huge mistake. Because right now I have zero personal debt.
Yeah.
I have a truck payment and a trailer payment. And I'm 22 years old, 23 next month.
Yeah.
And it's just, and like it goes back to the company driver and owner operator driver, is what is your money management like outside of work? Can you know what you can spend and know what you can't like spend? And that's the biggest thing. Like there's a lot of guys, they see that big money figure and they're like, I made 10 grand. No. The truck made 10 grand.
The truck grossed 10 grand.
The truck grossed 10 grand, but what was fuel? What was your insurance? And that's the biggest thing. Like if you call someone and say, hey, what's it cost you to run your truck a week? They look at you and they're like, well, I've never really thought of that.
Seriously, guys, you're out there, you're in the truck line with, you're talking, they have no idea.
No. There's, I mean, not even just in our industry, but flatbed, dry van, reefer rates, like,
oh man,
or just reefer freight. They're like, well, I'll run out here and do this and run back and do that. And I'm like, why? Like you can go run 100 miles for $6 a mile, or you can go run 800 miles for $2 a mile. And you know what I mean? It's like, what is your equipment worth to you? And like I showed you, I take pride in my equipment.
Yeah.
And
we're going to talk about that too.
Yeah. So I take pride in it. And there's a lot of guys that just don't care about the truck. And that's what I've been saying. Like these guys have been going out buying these huge money trucks.
Yeah.
And now that the rates are going down, they're shaking.
Yeah.
They're shaking bad. And what's the first thing that they're going to cut expenses on? Maintenance.
Oh man.
Those 10,000 mile oil change intervals are going to be going to 20, 18. Guess what? I don't care who you are. And people, I'm probably going to get flack for this, but 10,000 miles, that truck's in the shop getting an oil change. Every weekend when you come home, lay under the truck, shake everything.
Yeah.
And if you take care of that truck will take care of you. But right now, these guys are just wide open. If they see they can make $1.75 a mile, guess what? There's a race to go get it.
Oh man.
It's sad. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, because not long ago, the rates were fair and there was an abundance of work.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now that dry van's gone down the tank, all these guys are looking and saying, oh, well, the bulk freight's good because it's there.
Yeah.
And it's always going to be there.
Yep.
And that was another big thing that happened in our area is the avian flu. So it was killing off chicken herds or chicken.
Yep.
I don't even know what you call them. Herds, flocks.
Yep. Flocks.
And that slowed us down a lot. Like it was kind of scary because they're like, well, our feed orders are going down. So we don't need to use as much grain as we've been using. They went from 800 a ton a week to 350 and everyone's shitting in their pants because they got an $1,800 a month truck payment. They got an $800 a month trailer payment. And they're like, man, am I going to be able to pay for my pickup truck? I'm like, get rid of the fucking pickup truck. Like, why did you go out and buy that $85,000 pickup truck when you still owe $75,000 on your big truck?
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to get into the tax reasons of all that, but you know what I mean? Like, you think you would want to keep your business, the cash flow, the profits up, but no.
Well, I got Colt Sharp on here with Sharp Farms, man. This kid, I'm going to call you kid,
That's
22
fine.
years old. I'm double your age, by the way. And man, I'm just impressed. Like you don't see a lot of guys your age with that wisdom, and being an owner operator. And I want to talk about, you were showing me pictures of your rigs. I wish one of these days we're going to do video streams of these podcasts, but man, you have two beautiful trucks. And I don't just say that because those are, really cool trucks. Talk about that a little bit. Cause some guys, a lot of guys take pride in their trucks, but man, these are sharp trucks for a 22-year-old to have, and you own them both.
Yeah. So Own them both. Bought the first one when I was 20 years old. It was wrecked.
Yeah.
Got good deals from some buddies that had some parts laying around that were like, hey, I had a sleeper that was in a fire. Would you want it? Well, yeah, I'll take it and I'll make of it what I can because that's what I was working with. And another big thing is when I bought that green truck is the price on it wasn't stupid.
Mm-hmm.
That green truck, believe it or not, I have like 38.5 into it.
And the thing's probably worth, I mean,
when the market was hot, I had guys messaging me, like, because I would post on like the bulk haulers group and stuff like that, and they'd be messaging me, hey, sell me that truck. And I'm like, well, it's not for sale. And they're like, well, I got $100,000.
I was just going to say,
I'll come fly out.
I didn't want to shortchange you if it was more, but I was going to say, like, that thing's got to be worth 6 figures.
Yeah.
Or,
So they're like, I got $100,000. I'm going to come out and look at it. And I'm like, no, like, I know what I have. I know what I've put into it. And the biggest thing is just the support system behind you.
Yeah.
I never had a handout, but I've had a lot of help.
Well, and you had a landscape business, right, before the trucking?
Yeah.
So I mean, you had that in your teenage years.
Yeah. So I started that when I was 16.
Yeah. So you were already running businesses at 16.
Exactly.
I mean, you knew the basic principles.
Yeah. I sucked at school, but I knew money comes in, money goes out. And
more money's got to come in than money going out.
Exactly. And if you can sit back and look at it and say, okay, I'm doing this for myself.
Yeah.
I'm not making this guy rich, that guy rich. Like, that was my biggest thing. And I don't know if it was my pride, but I was like, if they can do it, I can too. Even though I'm half of their age.
Yeah.
I have the drive. And there's not a lot of guys my age that have that drive anymore. And there's a select few. And if they ever listen to this, they know that they have a job opening whenever they want to come. I've told them plenty of times, when you want me to sign on the line, I'll sign and you come drive for me. Like, it sounds really cocky, but I know what they're capable of. They've been driving for a couple of years. They're good, they're smart, and they're not cowboys. I don't want cowboys. They've been there, done that.
What do you mean by cowboys?
So they've been there and done that 100 times better than you.
Oh, okay.
10 times faster. And they're the ones that are out there wrecking trucks, running into people, falling asleep behind the wheel because people don't know how to treat that lifestyle. They just want to go run into the dirt. Now, there's been times that I've run, like I've said, hard. I've run 32 hours straight before from Baltimore area to Vermont and back.
Jeez.
And did 2 full days of work. Well, when that check came in, it was awesome. But I also didn't push myself. I took a nap here when I was unloading, took a nap there when I was getting loaded. But there's guys that don't know how to regulate that. And that's why I said that they'll just be company drivers. They will never be more. And I'm not saying that in a negatory way, but it's a lifestyle. Yeah. It's not just a job. And that's the biggest thing that people don't understand is, like, everyone that I work with, they're like, oh, you're going to go out to Matt's. Like, what the hell do you want to look at trucks all day for? You look at them every day. And I'm like, well, yeah, but it's something that I enjoy. Like, the common saying is, if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life.
That's right. Yeah.
Now, there's some days when I wake up and I'm like, I don't want to get into that truck. I'm like, I just want to stay in bed. But that's what separates the people that are stagnant and the people that want to get ahead, is they go out and do it, wake up, put in the hours, and do work.
The last question I have for you, Colt, you're 22.
Yep.
You're looking at the future. You want to grow. Yep. Like, talk to us about that. Like you said, I mean, you want to, in the next 8 years, because you said by the time you're 30, you want to have 5 trucks.
Yeah. So, number one reason being 5 is I know 3-4 other guys that are good.
Yeah.
And like I said, the ones that I'll sign on the line for. The biggest issue that I have right now is that market that we're in right now. It's so unpredictable. It's, some days it's there, some days it's not. But where we're at now, I can say that it's consistent.
Yeah.
And that's why everybody's flocking to the bulk sight of it now because they're like, it's consistent. I know I have work every day and it's getting me by.
I think you're shortchanging yourself.
Why?
I'm gonna call you out. I think you can grow that thing a lot bigger, man. You got the skill set. I mean, you got the knowledge already. I mean, heck, you're 22. You got 2 trucks. I mean, beautiful trucks running. Like, I see you like 30 plus trucks, man, by 30. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I've thought about that. It's just like I said, finding that good group of guys.
Well, I think you'll find it. I mean, you've figured
Yeah.
it out so far. You know?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like they say, if you build it, they'll come.
Yeah.
And I think that goes for anything and everything. I mean, look at what you've built. You built a good site that people can come to, and whether they're getting loads from it or just looking at it to see what's moving, look at what you've grown from that.
Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah.
So you have, I mean, how many people do you have here today?
Oh, at least 20. So,
and then how many people do you have back at home?
The equal amount. So
yeah, exactly.
So, yeah. Well, man, I appreciate that. But well, Colt, man, I appreciate you coming by. And man, again, you've been on the board for 3 years, which has been awesome. And man, I'm glad you stopped by your trucks. You got to see these. And I'm sure they're on Facebook or on social media, but man, they are sharp rigs. I'm excited to watch you grow. Like, I'm in a stage in life where I was always looking up at guys ahead of me, and now I'm looking guys down here. And I mean, but no, just encouraging them, man. I think the future is bright for you. I mean, you guys are the leaders now coming up through the bulk industry, and I don't say that lightly. Like, you got to pass the torch on. There's got to be guys that are growing out there, encouraging others, promoting this industry. That I mean, we're blessed to serve. So, man, thank you so much for what you do.
And touch on that real quick. So, for all the old heads out there that are listening, and I'm probably gonna get me in trouble. I'm gonna get in trouble. So, for all the old guys out there that just are on top of that mountain, don't be afraid to help out that young guy.
Yeah,
because I was him.
Yep,
and
I was him too.
Yeah, and when I started at where we discussed, there was one guy that just took me under his wing, and I don't think I could ever repay that.
Yeah.
Like he took me under his wing, but then there was places that I went that they saw a young kid pull up in a decent looking truck, and they're like, what's he doing here? That must be dad's money. That must be his inheritance. And I'm like, no, like I told them like what happened, and they're like, wow. Some of them would respect it, and then some of them would they wouldn't want to believe it.
Yeah.
And they would just be so nasty to you. They'd try to put you down because you were younger.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, he doesn't know what he's doing. Well, age in this industry has a lot to do with it. Don't get me wrong. But when they're gone, they don't realize when they're gone, if they're pushing these young guys out, what's going to be left of it?
Yeah. Somebody's going to fill the role. Somebody.
Yeah. And there's guys that want to do that role, and there's guys that enjoy doing that role.
Yeah.
And it's just...
Well, and again, I think my goal is to promote it. I mean, continue to promote it and let people know that, man, it's a great career and great job. And I mean, like anything in life, if you love what you do and you can find, if I have the passion to do it, the money's going to be there. So, but cool. Well, Colt, buddy, I'll let you go, man. Thanks again for stopping by the booth. God bless you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, hopefully after that conversation, you can realize why this guy is successful as a 22-year-old. I failed to say he's up out of the Northeast. He's up in Stewartstown, Pennsylvania. I think he does a lot of work for, I won't say exact names, but some of the poultry industry and some of those companies up in that. But I loved what he talked about from a mentorship standpoint, how important that is. And I think we forget in any phase in our life that, people are either looking up to us or looking down to us, depending on where I am. I mean, again, at my age, Tyler, I got more people looking up to me now. And yours, you're looking up to those as well, or looking up to people like me.
Yep.
But yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah. And, the bulk industry a lot of guys wanting to withhold information and keep it private, which is totally understandable. But you also got to realize that the new generation, guys like Colt, just getting into the industry, they need that experience. They need that mentorship. And he actually, in the episode he was talking, he actually gave credit to an older bulk hauler that really took him under his wing and showed him the ropes. And that's why, he's 22 with 2 trucks and, he's going strong.
I would say this too, there's, you can call it luck too, but I mean, it's a lot of people you see that are super successful. They've had good mentors,
Yep.
Or they've reached out and had mentors that have really shaped and molded them.
Yep.
To make them where they are. So cool. Well, I hope you like the podcast. One thing I was going to bring up, we spoke about that testimonial earlier. The other day I had another person reach out to me. I was actually through my LinkedIn and I wanted to connect, and I looked up his account, and Jaden Hughie Trucking out of Trinity, Utah, he sent me a message. I mean, it was so kind. He said, man, we love using BulkLoads. It has dramatically changed our business, and the folks you have in the office are top notch. It's truly a great platform. That always warms my heart. It's like, and yet we tend to always hear the issues and the problems, rates, and blah, 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 and we listen to all that. I'm not discrediting that, but it's always nice to get a pat on the back. If you're out there listening to this, maybe you've taken the first step and signed up on the platform, but don't know if it's going to be beneficial to you. Give us a ring, give us a call. Dude, we'll set you up with a trial. Like, we're not here to take your money. We're here to make sure and show you how this program can help. Maybe you are using it and not having any luck. Reach out to us before you just give up and say that this isn't. We have some tools maybe you didn't see that we can really help. I know that it works. It's there's people like this that are killing it and using it and have grown their business tremendously. So I'm not saying that to boost us up, but I'm saying that we are here to help you. The market is shifting in bulk freight. We are seeing positive signs. I think we were talking in our weekly meeting, man, we were seeing 4+ mile freight on some lanes.
Yeah, a lot more freight on the board.
Yeah.
And that's what I always find it funny too, because a lot of the new guys that sign up on the load board who haven't been on before, their first question is this something that you run full time off of? And it's like, you can use it how you see fit. If you want to take loads off there full time, but a lot of guys, they keep it year round. A lot of the older guys on the board that have been with us for 10 years, they're like, man, I'm going to keep my subscription because that one load that you need, it pays for it.
Yeah. Yeah. So definitely check it out. So reach out to us if you're wanting to just know more. I know it's hard to take that next step. Sometimes it's a pain to, I don't want to talk to somebody, but it's worth it. If you want to boost your business, increase your revenue, give us a holler. Tyler, we had these hats on the last show. We're probably going to keep them out there, but how does somebody get one of these hats? And by the way, we visited a customer last week and he was wearing that one in the middle and he was like, this is the coolest hat
I love to hear that.
I've ever seen. I was like, man, he is going to be wearing that all summer long.
Yeah, I love these hats. So how you can get one is by simply just shooting me an email, tyler@bulkloads.com. Shooting me an email saying that you listened to this episode and that you want a hat, and then we can go from there.
Yeah, also. You'll see Semi-Sam, if you don't know, that was a book that I have a series of books on that. If you're interested in one, and I say not you're interested, but if you have a child that would like it, man, I would love to give it to you as a gift. So just reach out to us, and we'll be glad to get that sent to your house.
Yep.
So cool. Well, thank you always for listening to the BulkLoads podcast. If you know somebody else that can benefit from this show or would like to hear it, man, please share this through your social media network. Man, we greatly appreciate that. We love getting in the hands of people that can find value for that. So thank you very much, and God bless.